Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. Thank you so much for joining me. So today's model is going to be all about the brows being too far apart, as you can see by my eyebrows. Some of you guys are brand new to this channel, so welcome. And so you guys don't know that my brows have been tattooed so many times, and the first time I had it done was a long time ago. So every 5 to 6 years, I will get that touched up, which by the way, last week I posted a video about my eyeliner tattoo, which I do touch up as well about every 3 to 4 years. So check that video out if you're considering to get that tattoo. This is, I think, pretty informative. So yeah, check that out. It was posted last week. So anyway, back to this model. I'm going to show you real soon how far apart her brows are, but also how circular they are. So I'm going to address a few issues actually: the far apart eyebrows, how circular it is, and how to apply the color to where it doesn't look so overly drawn. And the key thing is how do you fill in the front, especially if you don't have much or if at all, and how do you fill it in and apply the color where it's going to last pretty much all day. So this is definitely the video for you if you are interested in making the brows look more natural up in the front and having it last all day. So stick around and let's check the model out. So as I've said, she's got nice actually eyebrows, but it's very circular. It's a little too far apart. It's a good thing I have an old tattoo where I can always cover up my eyebrows. But anyway, so this is the areas that I'm pointing out, and also the areas that I'm going to be addressing, which is the front of the eyebrows. I want to close that in. The underneath where it looks very circular, and at the top corner, one side is much more sparse than the other. And so I'm going to show you guys how I would apply the color at the top to make it look more natural. Well, you're going to have that background, but you know, to not make it look so overly drawn. So without further ado, I'm going to show you real soon how I shape these eyebrows. So shaping the eyebrows is also very important because they're so circular. The front needs to be lifted a little bit, but I want to show you the measurement first. I want to show you how far apart the brows are. Not too bad actually, but it can still use it to be a little bit closer. So if this is your eyebrow, you always want to measure pin to the nose right here and right here. And so I'm going to just do a little bit for me. Mine's going to look little off. I always say this because I have concealer on my eyebrows, and so the color is going to look very different. That's why I have the model, to show you guys how natural it can look. So definitely look at me and how I'm holding the tools. That's the most important thing. That's why I try to do it with the model. So anyway, that is where her brows are going to be closed in. So that's the most important thing. If nothing else that you get out of this video, it's definitely going to be getting the brows a little closer in, because it's the hardest thing, I think. So now the brows are shaped. Now it's actually subtle, the shaping, right? But you guys can tell it doesn't have that hook, right? It doesn't have that very round look, and that's mainly due to the fact that I took off some of the hairs down below, which actually gives it more of a balanced, fuller look, don't you think? So that's very important. Important to go to someone like myself that knows what they're doing, right? So anyway, if you don't or feel uncomfortable getting that done or doing it yourself, don't worry about that. The under circular area, I do have something that you can do to help solve that problem. So anyway, this is really nicely shaped and ready for the waterproof brow pen. So I'm going to use the medium brown on her as well as on myself. The brow pen is what's going to help it last all day, but it can get very tricky, messy. So I'm going to show you a few tips. Try this out and hopefully it'll help. Okay, because it can get messy. So that's why a lot of times we tend to shy away from things that are more like intense, like the pen or the pomades. So here's the best tip I have. Now I froze it right here because this is the most important thing right here. See how I went in the middle of her eyebrows? Not in, and now here's the other important thing. I put the brow pen and then I tap with my finger. Apply with my brow pen and then tap. So I go back and forth until I get the desired amount, as you can see right here. So again, it's all about the middle part of that eyebrow. So right here, again, middle, then tap, middle, and then tap. So don't worry about the rest of the eyebrows. It's the middle area that's the most important thing. So you want to just keep applying the color and then you just tap it away. For me, because I went so far apart, my brow tattoo is that far apart. But, and this is a very important area right here, the highlighter. The highlighter is going to really help it show you guys how important it is to kind of, I don't know, give it that clean look. So I always like to do that before. You could do this before or after. So I'm just kind of toning that down. So here you go. What I'm going to do is just go right in the middle of that straight line and do that dot. See how I'm holding the pen, laying it down, and then I'm just tapping. The reason why you do the middle is that it breaks off that straight line. So tap and then tap. So right here, I'm doing both sides, but I think one side will look the best because I'm really just kind of trying to show you guys. Okay, so tap, and then, the reason why you use your fingers, it can get pretty wet. So here you go. So that way you're breaking that straight line again. So I'm using the ash brown pen powder. Very important, because this is what's going to help it to look even that much more natural. Keep in mind, that pen underneath is going to keep the color on all day. Very important. And as you can see, I'm using just the light side of that powder, just that light side. Make sure you pick it up with the brush side by side so you don't fan out the brush. Very important, right? Everything's important. Okay, so the light side, because we're going up in the front, I don't want the front to be so dark, but I do want the powder to be over that pen to soften it up. Now, my little dot and pen didn't quite turn out exactly like the way hers did, but you get the idea, right? Again, just right in the middle of that eyebrow, the middle, because the middle is what's going to break that straight waterfall look. So you get that idea, right? So anyway, here's that powder, and look at that. Here's this very important area, right at that top area. Did you notice how I dragged the brush down? I also combed the hair down. I don't have hair at the top here, so you guys that have hair up there, you know to comb it down, right? So I just lay the brush down. Notice the angle of the brush. It's laying down. I'm not holding it head on. That way I can use the brush to its full capacity, meaning the angle of the brush, the flatness of the brush, much easier than holding it head on. And then I'm just laying it down. Laying it down. We're just going to pretend that all this is my hair. It's a tattoo, but hey, you guys get the point, right? Because when you lay the comb the hair down, you see this little outline of your hair. If you go up there, you really get a fuller application. So you're laying the brush down and kind of in an angle. See that? Very, very important. If you haven't tried that technique, try that out. It makes such a big difference. Look at this. I comb up the hair, and you don't really see a lot of that color application at the top because now that hair is going over it. Remember, most of that kind of the adjustment is up in the front. Now, here's the trick here, underneath. If you don't have a way to get your circular area down below to be adjusted, or you're afraid of tweezing that extra hair down below, see that pocket right underneath? This is a very important area, and that's where I applied some of the color. You can grab a darker powder on that side. The dual powder has that light and dark. Grab that darker side, then you can apply some of that color underneath that pocket to break that circular, okay? So you probably would end up having a little bit fuller, but that's okay. You rather always have it a little fuller than too thin, right? So you want to just apply the brush right below, so that way it's more of an angular straight as opposed to that circular. So up in the front, I'm being very careful. I'm just going very lightly underneath with that brush to kind of complete that full look up in the front. So again, I'm showing you on the other side using that lighter side of the powder, remember, and then I'm just going up over and then down. Okay, so there you go. And underneath, I'm grabbing that darker color and just going right below. See? Okay, and then that pen is like really low here. Okay, so did you guys see that just doing that little adjustment up here with the powder? So the pen and the powder make a great team. And so that brow gel, everything, right? It's gonna keep the hair combed up and brushed up. So in just a second, you're gonna see that before and after, but don't forget that brow gel because it really gives that extra polished look. Actually, my brows doesn't look too bad. So that little tip, that middle area of that eyebrow, so important. If you missed that, go back to it, rewind it. But that is so important to make it look as natural as possible. Look at this before and after. Pretty good, right? And as you can see, that really round circular look isn't so round because I lifted that up. But you can see that if you didn't lift up that round look and just added some color down below at that pocket right here, right at that lower pocket, that actually can do the trick as well. Like I said, it might be a little fuller, but pretty good. And the big difference, it's subtle difference. Remember that, it's a subtle difference. And I think when you make it just those little adjustments here and there, it just makes a big difference. And why is that important? Because when our brows are balanced for our face and you make those little tweaks here and there, look at all she needs is, and she has it, all she needs is mascara and maybe a little bit of rouge, because you know, that always gives it that youthful look. And that's really all you need. I never leave home without the blush and mascara and the eyebrows. Those three things, so important to keep that youthful look. And I think that's why I feel like it's so important to keep that brow shape, or the best shape that you can, because it just pulls everything else together. Wouldn't you agree? Thank you so much for sticking with me today and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do so. Give me a like if you like this video, and definitely let me know in the comment box. I'm always trying to improve, so any kind of constructive criticism, not those mean ones, no, any constructive criticism will help me to move forward in giving you guys the best content as possible. I hope I touched some of your problems, and let me know if I did. That always helps as well. And you guys, you want to check out the next week video, because I'm going to use 2 different models next week, and it's going to be all about tinting your eyebrows, doing it yourself. You don't have to always go to a salon to do it. So I'm going to show you how to do it, and maybe that'll work out for you, because if you have really light eyebrows and you want to get darker, that might be the video for you. So check it out next week. Until then, I will see you guys then.